Hey guys, welcome back to Counterside. In today's video, we have a new week of Arena, which means a new ban list. So I'm going to look at the bans, the ups, the ships, and what units I think we'll see more prominently in the meta for PvP this week. But before we even get into that, I just want to say if you're building these units and you see them get banned, don't get too disheartened at this stage. It's still very early in the game. So basically, everyone's going to have a unit that they're building that is going to get put on the ban list. Now, especially, I've seen a lot of people say, well, this is just trying to screw free to play and stuff like that. I don't think that's what this list is for. I think as the game rolls on and you've built all these units, they'll stop being on the ban list and it'll be the newer units that get put on the ban list faster, which will mean it'll actually help later on. That's the way I anticipate it happening. But at this early stage, everyone's going to be building a unit that is going to be on the ban list. For instance, me, I just maxed out my Evelyn 2 days ago. And she's done. She's done this week, but she will come back. They will change the ban list. It will be fine. Just because that's like the first thing I see in the comments when I do this stuff. These people are like, but I just built them. They're screwed. I think it'll be fine. It'll just be like you just gotta ride, especially free to play. You just gotta ride the bumps for a little bit, and then it should smooth out. But let's get into the bans. So this week they've said basically they've said, Gaeun, we do not want to see you in the game. At ban 1, she was still in everyone's team. They thought maybe we'd do ban 2 and she'll drop out, but they said, nah, screw it. We don't want to see her this week. She goes to ban 3. Rip my maxed Gaeun. Okay, next up, Evelyn. Evelyn made sense to me. This one was sort of pretty obvious it was coming. She was the healer that everyone was using, but I definitely think we will see a different healer meta now. But at 5 with a ban 2, I think she's just done. I don't think it's worth the extra 2 deployment to go ahead and throw her out. Now, Xiaolin at ban 1. When she was at ban 1 in the first week, she was still used. So she's back at ban 1. I can see her maybe being used. The Whales may not use her as much depending on whether they want to build the other ups in this list, but we'll wait and see. I still think Xiaolin, for those who have her maxed, is very, very viable to be used at a ban 1. She's still incredibly strong. Next up, we have Chifuyu. I think she'll see some use at 4. 4 is not a bad cost for Chifuyu for what she offers. If you have one built, definitely test her out. But I wouldn't be rushing to max yours because she's at 4. I'd say wait for next week. She'll probably come off the ban list. At 3, she at a 3 deployment cost, which is her base. She's going to be fantastic. And the next one's Sane. Now, this, it just shows you how bad their decision was last week to put her at 2, to have her on the ups list when she's gone straight from ups list to ban list. That was last week's ups were just completely strange. So I got no idea what's going on. Now, the big thing from the ban list from last week is we've got Elizabeth off the ban list, we've got Kyle Wong off the ban list, and we've got Yang Harim off the ban list. So those are 3 very prominent units that I think we will see this week, and we'll talk about that a bit more in a minute. Now, banned ships. Last week we did have the Gleipnir at ban 2. Now it's only at a ban 1. So those free-to-play players or newer players using the Gleipnir, obviously these bans don't take effect in bronze, but in silver, you can get away with the Gleipnir if that's all you have. Lake Superior, if you've got something, if you've built another one, yes, but honestly at 20%, I think a lot of people are still just going to use their Lake Superior. Moving on from that, we have the ups. Now, Mia is one. As you can see, we've got 2 snipers in the ups again this week. Now, Mia is one. If you built her because she's waifu, grats, because she's absolutely amazing at a 3, in my opinion. Whales, I can see maybe just going and maxing her for this week. But at her base 4, she just seems a bit steep. However, if you've ever played against her and she gets to use her ultimate, it is huge. It's a massive knockback, especially with max skills. It's big damage, and it's pretty impactful. So we'll take a look at her skills in a minute. Now, Reaper's a very interesting one. We'll take a look at his skills as well. Reaper basically is a free deployment at this stage because he's got basically his passive is he swoops over, drops bombs, but if he doesn't get killed, which he flies over really, really fast, if he doesn't get killed, he refunds at max skills 2 deployment costs. So this is effectively a free character to put in your team, which is really nice because, you know, if you're just trying to cycle through, get back to another character in your team, you got a free deployment. Well, it takes a couple seconds to get your refund back. Really, really nice for the impact that you can have trying to snipe weaker enemies and stuff like that. So not bad. And then we do have Stronghold, and Stronghold was seen a little bit already. So at 2, I think people are going to build Stronghold, or if you already have him built, he's going to be a fantastic option. So let's jump over, take a look at some of the winners and losers, and have a bit more of a look at the abilities we're looking at. First up, we'll look at Mia so that you guys know what you're going to be coming up against if you do face her. So she got this one here. Every 5th basic attack increases her attack by 25% for 10 seconds. And at max skills, each time she lands a kill, she's going to get a cooldown reduction of her ultimate skill by 5 seconds, which is a full minute cooldown, which is very long, but it's a very powerful skill. Next up, her special at a 20-second cooldown, ain't too bad, 2 valid hits, delivers 3 consecutive knockback attacks if enemies are present within 7 meters. And then we also have enemy speed minus 40% for 30 seconds, slowing their advancement. So this one ain't too bad. So if you try and drop something on her, she's going to have that skill ready to go. Or as soon as you do advance to her, she's going to buy your team some time. Next up, we have the ultimate. Fires a gun 3 times that takes a long time to charge, but shoots incredibly powerful bullets, inflicting knockback and AoE damage. And as you can see, knockback distance doubled. So at max skills, this is actually a huge knockback and some really big damage as well. And as you can see, it's got a massive 4 valid hits. So this ability, if she gets to it, is going to be incredibly strong. Now, something that I see being really relevant in this week's meta to go ahead and counter her if she does see a prominent spot is Gaeun. Now, the reason being because he has his special ability. Well, first, he can be put anywhere on the battlefield. And then this one, we've got his counter attack, which ignores damage from hits armed special skills and shoots Spirit Sword, inflicting AoE damage and stuns the target for 1.5 seconds. Damage increased by 25%. Basically, I can see if Mia becomes meta, I feel like Gaeun will be instantly become meta as well because she's going to be sitting back there, and if she gets to ult, she's going to be threatening. So the fact that you can drop him there, counter her special, and then probably delete her because she is a sniper, he is a ranger, it should be pretty much happy days from there for Gaeun. I think this is where he's really going to shine. Like, he was relevant last week, but I think he's going to be incredibly relevant this week. Okay, so Reaper, like I said, is the other one we're looking at, and I'll show you how he functions. But basically, performs remote control bombardment, attacks its deployment spot, and leaves the field upon reaching the other side. Successfully escapes, restores 1 deployment resource, and then this here says +2 upon successful escape. I'm pretty sure it's only a +1 because when we go into testing where they have max skills, it only gives you a +2. So it's like you get 2 back all up. It's not 2 on top of the 1 already. So at base, he has a 3 deployment cost, which makes him effectively a 1 deployment cost. I mean, you can make this guy your leader and just spam him and get +1s. I mean, it's not a bad ploy. I was actually looking at building this guy, but I'm not going to get to him this week. But I'm really curious to see if people do make this guy their leader, just to spam +1s. We'll see what happens. And then 20% more damage on snipers. So once again, in the sniper meta, he's going to be able to do that extra damage to the snipers. Also has the siege damage as well, but not too effective. But I just wanted to jump in here and show you guys the test of this guy because I really just like the look of how quick he operates. So for instance, if we go here, just watch how quick he goes. And then he's out, and you can see you get +2. So like, as long as they're not ulting or have any, you know, specials about to go off, you can pretty freely just drop this guy, and get some nice damage at essentially a free cost. Now it's a risk that if you do get hit by some AoEs or something like that you will be done. But honestly, the biggest threat for him in this, and I don't think it's a huge threat, is if we go over here and check out Sylvia. Now, she is back to 3 because she is off the ups list, but I still think she's going to be incredibly relevant, really strong. And with the other snipers that are basically ground-based, it sort of leaves Reaper free to do his thing. Now, obviously, Sylvia with her AoE is still going to be a threat. Just watch out for that if people are using it. Anything else that's attacks all, and, you know, just trying to avoid it with the Reaper, and I think he can be really strong for anyone that wants to go ahead and build him. Now, like I said, Kyle Wong back to his base at 3 deployment costs with this 24-second cooldown on the bulwark. I just think he's going to be everywhere now. Him combined with Yang Harim, when you can drop a Kyle, get this dropped at 24 seconds, and then go ahead and pop yourself a Yang Harim if I can find her, which she should be down here, and then drop a Yang Harim and get the effect of this ability, which is going to increase skill haste by 40% at max, which you're going to max this out. It's on 24-second cooldown. It's amazing skill. But like, I feel like these two are just going to be everywhere. At 3 deployment costs, it's going to be huge. And you're going to see a big variance in leaders as well. The cool thing was that I thought they were going to put Ryan on the ban list. He did not make the ban list. I'm glad, because I maxed him because he's just a future-proof tank. So I think Ryan's still going to be a very prominent. But the other one that I think we're going to see a lot of is going to be Lee Yumi. Now, I held off on building my Lee Yumi because I thought she was going to go on the ban list. I think she'll probably go on the ban list next week. But she's also going to be everywhere at a 3 deployment cost. So we're in this really interesting meta of like a lot of really good 3 deployment cost units where you can build some really balanced teams around them. Obviously, Gaeun at a ban 3, she is completely done. But I'm interested to see where else the meta goes. Like I said, Elizabeth back off the ban list. I'm definitely going to see some use now. Incredibly powerful unit to be dropping on enemies and then spamming with that AoE with the hit stun. Like, not too bad at all. But I definitely think the big winners are going to be Kyle Wong, Yang Harim, Elizabeth. Those ones getting dropped off of the ban list. And then the big losers are obviously Evelyn and Gaeun because they're getting hit so hard. As for other healers, I think we'll still see, like, maybe some people might even throw in a Claudia if they've been building her as like a side option free to play. But Chinatsu, I think, will still see some play, but not on everyone's team. Like, I guess if people maxed her out for the 2 deployment cost when she had it, she'll still see some use. But I feel at a 3 deployment cost compared to Yang Harim's 3 deployment cost, Yang Harim is going to take that spot. It just depends how many healers people are going to run on teams. But that pretty much covers what I see happening in the meta this week. It's going to be a really interesting week. I do love this ban list thing. Like I said, don't feel too hurt if your unit got put on the ban list. Like I said here, if we go and look at my management, I literally just, I think a day and a half ago, got my Evelyn up, maxed her 2nd and 3rd skills, and then it's like, see you later, Evelyn. Okay, sweet. So this morning, as soon as I saw that, I went and maxed out Kyle Wong stars, and I'm just going to go ahead and do some skill ups. And I started working on my Yang Harim, who was sitting there waiting for something to happen. And then I'll probably work on Lee Yumi, but keeping in mind, Lee Yumi's probably going to get banned next week, in my opinion. And then Xiaolin, I'm gonna still hold out on Gaeun. I'm hoping next week she might drop off the ban list, unless she's going to stay there for a solid month or 2, just because she is so powerful in that back row. But we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, Yang Harim's the next one I'm building along with my Kyle, and then we'll probably jump into Elizabeth and then look at Lee Yumi. So that's where my plans are at the moment. Slowly progressing on the account. But anyway, guys, that is going to be it for this one. Thanks for watching. I hope you have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing the next one. Cheers.